We live in a world it's powered by batteries, right? From our phones to our cars, and we tend to think of them as just simple boxes of energy. But what if I told you that inside the most powerful ones, there's a secret intelligence working nonstop, a hidden brain keeping everything running perfectly?
No, really, just think about that for a second. What if that big block of power in your EV or your home storage unit wasn't just some dumb container, but it actually had a mind of its own, making decisions every single millisecond? Well, here's the crazy part. It does.
And this is where this brilliant analogy comes in. It's really the key to understanding the whole thing. We're talking about the battery management system, or you'll hear it called the BMS. This thing is the unsung hero, the chief commander that's literally marshaling all the forces inside your battery pack.
Okay, so why on earth does a battery need a commander? I mean, aren't they just tough boxes of power? Well, it turns out that for all their incredible power, the lithium-ion cells that are basically changing our world, they're actually, well, kind of delicate. They need constant supervision to hit their peak performance and, way more importantly, to operate safely.
And look, this isn't just some minor issue. We're talking about a huge drop in its lifespan and the very real risk of a pretty dangerous malfunction. The BMS, it's not some luxury add-on. Nope. It's an absolutely essential, non-negotiable part of the system for both protection and longevity.
So, what exactly is this commander protecting the battery from? Good question. See, the thing is, the incredible power we get from lithium-ion tech, it comes with a trade-off. It has 4 specific inherent weak points that the BMS is designed from the ground up to manage.
All right, weak point number 1, overcharging. If you try to cram too much energy into a lithium cell, it's just like overinflating a tire. It starts to generate a ton of heat, which can totally damage the cell's internal structure and, in a worst-case scenario, it can lead to a fire.
And then on the flip side, they absolutely hate being completely drained. If a lithium battery's voltage drops too low, what we think of as draining it down to zero, it can cause these irreversible chemical changes inside. And poof, the battery can be permanently damaged. It might never, ever take a charge again.
Then there's temperature. Lithium batteries are, they're a bit like Goldilocks. They don't like things too hot or too cold. If it gets too cold, their performance just tanks. And if it's too hot, they can become unstable and really dangerous. They've got to be kept in that perfect, just right temperature zone.
And this last one, this one is really fascinating. You see, a big battery pack is made up of hundreds, sometimes even thousands of individual cells. But just like people, no 2 cells are ever perfectly identical. And it just takes one slightly weaker cell to act like an anchor, dragging down the performance and the capacity of the entire army.
Okay, so there you have it, 4 critical weaknesses. And that brings us right to the 4 core jobs of the BMS. The best way to think of it is like a super talented professional who's been hired to solve these exact problems, making sure that Battery Army runs as smoothly and efficiently as possible.
And to make this super clear, we're going to give the BMS 4 different job titles. It's a doctor, a bodyguard, a manager, and a diplomat, all rolled into one tiny little circuit board. So let's break down what each of these roles actually does.
All right, first up, we have the doctor. The BMS is constantly, and I mean constantly, monitoring the battery's health. It's checking the voltage of every single cell, the current flowing in and out, the temperature, all the vital signs. And you know that battery percentage you see on your phone or your car's dashboard? Yep, that's the state of charge, or SOC. And it's the doctor that calculates it and reports it to you.
Next up is probably its most critical role, the bodyguard. Now, if the doctor detects anything dangerous, like a voltage spike or a sudden current surge, the bodyguard acts instantly. It can literally cut the power in a fraction of a second, stopping a potential disaster before it even has a chance to get started. It's all about prevention.
Okay, now for the manager. This role is all about tackling that imbalance problem we talked about. Remember how no 2 cells are perfectly alike? Well, because of those tiny manufacturing differences, some cells just get full a little faster than others. And this causes a major headache when you're trying to charge an unbalanced pack. So here's the problem. Without a manager, as soon as that one fast cell hits 100%, the whole charging process just stops. Even if all the other cells are only at, say, 80%. That wastes a huge amount of potential capacity. So the solution? The BMS manager does something called cell balancing. It cleverly shuffles a little bit of energy from the fullest cells over to the less full ones. This makes sure every single cell in that army reaches the finish line together, unlocking the battery's absolute full potential. And last but not least, we have the diplomat.
See, the battery doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? The BMS has to talk to the rest of the system. We're talking the motor in your EV, the inverter for your solar panels, you name it. It's sending constant real-time updates on its status, so the whole system knows exactly how much power it can safely pull or push at any given moment.
So, when you put all these jobs together, the doctor, the bodyguard, the manager, the diplomat, the benefits just become crystal clear. The BMS is what takes a simple collection of battery cells and transforms them into a truly intelligent energy source. And for you, that means 3 key advantages. First off, it makes the battery way smarter. Thanks to the doctor's constant monitoring and the diplomat's communication, your whole system has this precise, real-time picture of its energy state. And that, of course, allows for a much more efficient use of power. Second, and this is arguably the most important one, it makes the battery profoundly safer. That bodyguard function is on duty 24/7, just standing watch to prevent the very conditions that could lead to something bad like overheating or a fire. So the key takeaway here is that this is active, preventative safety. It's stopping problems before they happen.
And finally, it makes your battery last a whole lot longer. By preventing overcharging, over-discharging, and keeping all those cells perfectly balanced, the manager and the bodyguard work together to stop that subtle damage that adds up over time. And that, of course, maximizes the battery's lifespan and its value for you.
So, the next time you plug in your electric car or maybe rely on your solar battery during a power outage, just remember this. There is a silent commander in there working every single second, orchestrating everything behind the scenes to keep that power flowing safely. And really, the big takeaway here is this. Not all batteries are created equal, not by a long shot. And very often, the hidden difference, the thing that separates a high-end battery from a mediocre one, is the quality and sophistication of its battery management system. It's the ultimate indicator of quality, performance, and above all else, safety.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, from the engine control unit in your car to the complex processors running a city's traffic grid, our world is just filled with these hidden commanders. So I'll leave you with this question. What other invisible brains are working right now behind the scenes to make your life run smoothly?